So come on, come on. Welcome. I'm waiting for all my stuff to come on. There we go. I think everybody's online now. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so this is going to be one of the hardest for me to get started. I sat here for a little while trying to get my thoughts together. But in our current system, in our current situation, I think small businesses in general are, the mom and pops, the people that are in your community they have a small business. They are completely misunderstood by government bureaucracies and I think the general citizenry. You hear about on television all the time about, there's all these benefits that are available. I don't even want to call them benefits. There's loans and there's the unemployment insurance, unemployment, what do they call it now? The PUA for entrepreneurs. There's disaster relief. There's the PPP. But over, since March 27th, when Kansas decided to shut me down because I was non-essential, and they specifically said that hobby stores and art stores are not essential. Okay, so I'm shut down. So as an entrepreneur, I'm like, well, what can I do? What can I do? So I ended up being able to set myself up at home and only take online orders, which is only about 30% of my business. You're entrepreneur in your city, okay? You might have the idea that they are making a bunch of money. They have, they are self-sufficient. They have, everything under control. They have, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I have been doing this now for 9 years. I started off in my home, and then 5 years ago, I launched and came into the space that I'm in as a retail space. Those are all successes. But during this entire time, I haven't been really making a paycheck. And you might ask yourself, well, how is that? Well, it's because, and how is it that I continue to go? Why do I bother? Well, I have a bigger mission than just making a paycheck. And it's not charitable. It's that I want to grow this to a point where it is profitable and successful. Okay, but I'm willing to make the sacrifices. And my husband's willing to make the sacrifices to have me make less than a waitress, or even less than, I don't make minimum wage. That's the cold hard truth. I make way less than that. And most years in the past, I have actually lost some money. And where do you think that money comes from? It comes from my credit. I have stuff on credit cards in order to continue going. Most people are not willing to take those chances on their dreams. And all of these programs, the unemployment that was set up, before March 27th, that program was supposed to be available. It was supposed to be available quickly for entrepreneurs, or for self-employed people, and for gig workers. We're still waiting. It was just May 14th. It was just 2 days ago that I was able to even apply for it. So, and then they're saying 3-6 weeks. So we're talking an entire quarter, 3 months of waiting to get some kind of relief. The only relief that I've received is the $1,200 everyone else got, and I did do a fundraiser online, and I really appreciate the people that saw that I was in dire straits. I can be here for this month. I was able to actually pay my rent this month because of those people. And then there's also a lot of people who did buy prints. And that's what I preferred, because that's what I do. Didn't want to be asking for money. I also applied for the disaster relief through the SBA, and I applied for PPP. And what was interesting about the PPP is that, first of all, they were talking about, well, this is money that could help you pay your rent and your utilities, even if you don't have employees. But when I went in and did the loan request, this is a loan from my bank, within, seems like hours, it was just days, that money was gone. Because the banks took the easy way out and decided to give the money to the people who had the larger ask. You know, the more, you can service less people if you are giving larger loans. And you do get a better commission off of those larger loans. So, small business with a small ask, I got nothing. Okay, so they opened it up again. And I'm still sitting here waiting. And what is interesting is when I had to apply the second time, they were more worried about whether or not I had employees rather than just trying to pay my bills. So I'm sure that I'm really low on the list. None of these programs are set up for the self-employed entrepreneur. The disaster relief, I applied for that and SBA right away. Heard nothing. Happened to log on the other day, and now we want you to do another application because there's new money available. This time, however, they did ask me the difference between cost of goods sold and what I sold. Now, I don't know what difference that's going to make other than the money for all the stuff to keep me online and my rent and all that stuff is factored in that other amount, the difference between there. And I don't know. I'm very, very small in the big scheme of things. However, if you add up all of the people that are in my situation, there's an awful lot of us. And there's beauticians, a small business owner who has her she was a beautician who rented out her chairs for other beauticians. She tried to open up because everybody was not meeting their mortgages. That she was all of her beautician, not employees but renters. They were not being able to feed their families. And what did they do? They arrested her, and then they put her in jail for not apologizing to the politicians and the bureaucrats. This is ridiculous. There was another man in California who opened up his barber shop. Now what they're doing is they're taking his license away from him because they can pull their license. That's a powerful thing they can do. They can pull his license to cut hair. Which means if they do ever open up, because they've opened, now they've extended it another 3 months, another quarter, he won't even be able to do his business. That's what he gets punished for wanting simply to open up his shop and do business. And let's just say that we do open up the shops. The other hurdle we have to to climb over on this is, and it's a huge wall. It's not just a little hurdle. It's a huge wall. It's called fear. They have the entire public in so much fear that they are going to die from if they contract the CV, that they're not willing to go out and conduct commerce. Luckily, I have a business where they can conduct conduct commerce online. I've been set it up so that they don't even have to pay right here, and there doesn't have to be any touchy on the money exchange. And I'm sure you can hear my air compressor in the background. So that's what you're hearing. But small businesses are really, this whole thing is not set up for small businesses. And small businesses are not what you think they are. They certainly aren't corporate. But there's an awful lot of corporations that are benefiting from this. And I'm sure that they're in a little bit of a panic too, because their bottom line isn't going to be what it was. But small businesses are on a shoestring budget. 3 months of no income is going to kill it. It's going to kill their business. And here's the good news though. Entrepreneurs, such as myself, are creative and typically try to figure out how to make things go. I mean, I've been here before. When I started this business, I started it on little or nothing. Started when I was 20% ready, and then figured out the other 80%. I was looking like I was headed in the right direction, and now I'm backwards again. Headed backwards. I just whoop, and it all happened. All it was you're non-essential. Considering that my business has few walk-ins, I mean, it's only the people who need photographs that walk in, and then and then they pick also people who pick up their prints on a daily basis. I guarantee you, I run into a heck of a lot less of people walking into this building than do most of the businesses around me. Definitely less than, you're less exposed coming into my business than you are going to the grocery store or filling up your tank. But I had to close down anyway. We're back up. But now I have the hurdle of the fear factor. Daily, every single day on the news, there is, more news and more concentration on the horrific things that are going on. Okay, which is actually a small percentage. But we're also not concentrating on the other horrific things that happen in the world. That, it's easy to take numbers and scare people. I can remember watching during the war when my husband was overseas and deployed. There's a daily death toll. We're in that again. And it's really easy to become immune to those numbers when we've already had that. We've already lived through this. The daily number fear factor. And it's tragic that people are dying. But we have to put it in perspective. And we also need to understand that the small businesses are the backbone of our communities. They're your friends and your neighbors. They're just here to provide a service because they love what they do. And, really opening my own business has ruined me to think about going to work for anybody else. I've learned so much. I started off in the corporate entity as a graphic designer. Talk about soul sucking. I was there just a cog in the wheel. Here I'm a master of my own destiny, but I can't do my own destiny if my own government is working against me by shutting me down. We're all adults. We can make our own decisions on what kind of risks that we want to take. Because I guarantee you, no one was out there trying to warn me. There were people warning me of risks, but risks of going out and starting my own business. And this here right now is a risk that was unforeseen that I'm going to do everything in my power to overcome. I have put everything into this business. 9 years of my life. All the money that I could possibly put into it. Life would be much more profitable if I just went down the street and got a job at McDonald's. But I don't know how long I'd survive. Spiritually, mentally. What I think, I truly believe what I do is important. As do every other entrepreneur out there. I even have large corporations that I'm fighting against. There are larger corporations that do what I do. But what you're not going to get with them is the personal service. I touch, that's scary, isn't it? I touch everything that goes in and out of here. My whole team is me, myself, and I. And we make a pretty great team. And I do everything from the janitorial work to the bill paying and the CEO work. The marketing. And none of it's easy. But it's a whole lot easier on my soul and on my spirit than it would be to go work for somebody else. So, I can't not do what I'm doing. And is it right that the government can just say, no, you can't do that anymore? Nope. We had a whole lot of, and it just seems like we're just getting all set up for this because, how many years have we heard that, you're not safe for the community. Now we're not essential to the community. Well, I am essential to some people because I have customers. And this whole thing is killing small businesses. None of the programs that they set up are set up for small businesses. I cannot imagine that if I was located in some place like Kansas City, some larger place where all my overhead would quadruple, what I would have done. And I'm talking about this for everybody out there. Everybody. And this is getting a little long. So, your small business isn't somebody who's sitting around with the big old wallet They just made a job for themselves. They're just getting by. They're just getting by just like you are with your regular job. And probably less so. If I'm not open, I don't get business. Which means I don't make any money. Which means I can't pay the bills that are still there. Small businesses are extremely important to our communities. And every single citizen should be fighting to go back to allowing these small businesses to run. If we open up the beauty salons, there's no one twisting anybody's arm to go get a haircut. As a matter of fact, I went and cut my own hair last night. It's not good. I would have preferred a professional, but they're not open. And if my professional wore gloves and a mask, I probably would have felt perfectly safe. It can be done. It can be done. At some point, and you can't even, I don't even want to get into the numbers because nothing on all the news channels, they all say stuff that is different. What do we really know? We just follow what we believe is the true thing. And the more we hear a specific narrative are the ones that we're going to think are true. And I think the last few years of all of our media, all of the messages that we've been getting, kind of maybe have proven that not everything is as it seems. So, support your local businesses, whether it's mine or another small business that you know. And encourage the opening of these of the nation. We need our economy back. Because you know what? If we don't get if our economy completely tanks because of this, we don't have, you won't even recognize what we have as a nation. Don't let fear ruin the United States. This is so much different than how we came together after 9/11. It's an enemy from within our own bodies, within our own minds, within our own narratives that have been given to us. Small businesses. Support them and let's open up. And that's it for my Saturday. All right.